So I'm an Associate Professor of Hydration Care Research at the University of East Anglia, and we've been looking at hydration care for older people for a few years now. Abbie, over to you.
I'm Abbie, I'm from Age UK Norwich, and I'm one of the health coaches, meaning we have a personal training background. Obviously, we're here to share about our side of things as well.
So we've had a really nice year. We've been working together on a project, Drinking Well at Our Age community, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to start off with a little bit about hydration and the background to that, and then Abbie's going to talk about the work that we've been doing. Okay, so just a little bit of background, and I know Elise is talking later, so this is based on her work, but I just wanted to say that we're actually talking about quite a large number of people who are dehydrated as they get older. So Elise has found that 1 in 4 of older people over the age of 65 are dehydrated, which is quite a remarkable number when you think about it. But what she also showed that there's quite a big range. So some studies, there was nobody dehydrated, and other studies, 89%. So huge range there. But what we think that tells us is it's highly preventable. So we can really do something about that by putting in the right processes. She's going to talk about her posters, so I'm just going to flick through those. They're downloadable and you can use them wherever you think they might be useful. We're a group of researchers here at UEA. Lee and myself have been kicking around for quite a long while, and Florence and Amy are the 2 researchers who've been working with Abbie on this project. And what we've been doing, we've done a whole range of research, do look us up. But what I'm going to talk about today is how do you recognise and measure dehydration? How many people are dehydrated? How much should they be drinking? And then, of course, the work that we've been doing with Age UK.
So just to add to this a bit of background, this is our Age UK Hydrate group, and the main people that have sort of been working on the group since the beginning, on the project, sorry. And obviously got our CEO at the top, community manager, and then a health coach coordinator, and myself as well. Most of our health coaches are now trained in this hydration training as well. There's only a couple left, but these are sort of the main, I think, that have been hand in hand with it. Okey-doke. So really it gives a bit more background again. It's mainly seeing how we can improve our services and what we can provide our older people. We already do a little sort of nutrition booklet, not much on there, but it's been really valuable to have the hydration input as well. And of course that then allows us to improve our service. Again, I think we've sort of briefly touched on this. I know someone earlier was talking as well. This is our mission statement. Just wanted to run very briefly through it, just in case you've not heard of us. I think most people have by now. But our main aims really are to provide support and opportunities in any way possible. We have a wide variety of services we can offer. We target and tackle specific inequalities. We have our RETA project that specifically target these inequality areas. We advocate the use of age-friendly principles, and we also champion people aged 50 plus. And again, this is just our services. So this is our prospectus. It gives a wide variety of our services we can offer and the details.
Okay, so coming back to hydration for a second, there are 2 main types of dehydration, and the type that we'll talk about, and which is most common, is when people simply don't drink enough for what they need. So our minerals and electrolytes stay stable, we just don't have enough fluid kicking around. And that's the most common type that we find in older people. It's different to hypovolemia. And hypovolemia has different causes and management, and it's due to salt and water loss. So we're losing minerals and electrolytes. It occurs most commonly in diarrhea and vomiting bugs, or excessive sweating, or hemorrhaging. As I say, today, what we're talking about is low intake dehydration. And we know we need to drink. We know it's essential for life. We know water is completely integral to all our bodily fluids. But not only that, it helps us with swallowing, digestion, waste removal, prevents constipation, urinary tract infections, helps with medications, making them more effective by aiding swallowing, absorption and transportation, helps us stay focused, gives us energy, helps fight infections. But also, and this is the approach that we take in our work, when we drink together, it's a social thing. So we need to drink physiologically, but by drinking together, it's social, and therefore it helps well-being and prevent loneliness as well. So we know that dehydration is bad for us, leads to increased risk of falls, urinary tract infections, increased risk of going into hospital, and increased risk of death as well. And for a really good reference discussion about all the things that can happen if you don't drink enough, do look at this reference. But really what we wanted to say is that older people are actually more at risk of dehydration than those of us that are younger. Some of that is due to physiological changes. So as we get older, a lower percent of our body is water. So you can see from this picture here, only about 50%. That means we trip into dehydration that much quicker. Also, our kidneys aren't so great at concentrating urine anymore, so we tend to pee out more, larger amounts of urine. Our sense of thirst goes, and our muscles, when we lose muscle, that's where we store our water, and when we lose muscle, that trips us. We have less water kicking around. Coupled with that, which you've heard lots about today, the physical frailty, being able to access drinks, remembering what a drink is, recognising the drink in front of you, reduce social contact, which is really where Abbie and her colleagues come in. That reduces the amounts that we drink, and also behavioural and psychological, with the biggie being about worrying about going to the toilet. So a lot of us, especially nurses or health professionals or sports people, have been brought up with, well, you can tell if someone's dehydrated because you simply look at their urine, see if it's light coloured, ask if they're thirsty, look at their mouth, skin turgor, and a number of other things. And these tests are used very widely, and you find them in lots of textbooks on NHS websites. And we use them a lot because we think that they work. They're not invasive, you don't need much equipment, they don't cost anything, you don't need much training, and we think that they work. So a few years ago, we did a study and we asked the question, well, how do we know that they work? And so we invited care home residents, 188, to have a blood test, and that's the gold standards, that's the best test you can do. So they had a blood test, and we did all these other tests, and we compared the results, and we asked, do any of them work? And we found out that actually none of them work. None of them work in older people over 65 living in care homes. And again, and now, because we did this work a little while ago, there are other studies as well that are showing the same things. So we're in discussions with the NHS websites to try and update their websites so they don't show urine colour anymore. So we're getting there, and you know, it takes time to get results out. And I just wanted to put up a bit of graphically, really, just to show what's, how bad the tests are, if you like. So what this diagram shows is that we asked older people, do you feel thirsty, yes or no? And then we did their blood test, and there was absolutely no difference between those who said they were thirsty and those who said they were not. So in other words, thirst is not a good indicator of dehydration in older people. We shouldn't really be asking them, are you thirsty, before offering a drink. And again, I just put this up because I think it starkly shows how bad urine colour is as well in older people. So for a really good test, if the test works, if it tells you that somebody's got a condition, and more importantly, you're very confident that they don't have the condition, if it's negative, it should follow the blue line, the blue curve. And if it doesn't work, the diagonal line in the middle is the point of no effect. And this is urine colour. So it follows completely the point of no effect. Why is that? There's all sorts of reasons why urine colour changes. I love beetroot. That's a really good reason why your urine colour might change. I've already said the kidneys don't work so well. Different medications. Depends whether you're viewing it in artificial or daylight. And there is a problem of using unreliable tests. So if you look at somebody's urine that's pale yellow, and you think that your older adult is well hydrated and that there's no cause for concern, your care is just to confirm that they're drinking okay. But actually what we're saying is that don't be fooled by that. Pale urine in an older person is not necessarily an indicator of good hydration. And we need to think that actually most, or 1 in 4 older people are dehydrated. And part of the reason for that is, we know this now because Science has moved on, and there's new developments all the time. So how can we prevent dehydration? Well, drinking. And for a man, should drink about 2 litres a day roughly, and a woman about 1.6 litres a day, with another 20% from food. So food doesn't replace drinking, it adds to it and supplements it. What I've done here is taken a photograph of a tray of what that would look like, a day's worth of drinks for a man and a woman, with a bit of a health warning there that there are some adults that do need to restrict their fluids if they've got heart failure, for example, or kidney failure, or for another reason that they're told by their doctor. And it doesn't just have to be water. Water is what we need, but we can find water in many, many different types of drinks. So the important thing is a drink that somebody likes to drink in the way that they like to drink. Drink it hot wheat tea, strong cold tea, orange juice, whatever. So that brought us on to our collaboration with Age UK Norwich. I'm going to hand over to Abbie.
Yes, so I think you came back to this quite a while ago. Touched on it a little bit earlier, but like I said, our health coaching, I will go into a bit more detail very shortly, but it's a real time period for us to connect with our clients and to actually go over the hydration with them, and we get a real insight. I know they originally did some work in care homes, which decided to come to us as we're in their homes. It gives a new element to it as well. And it does allow us to really get a good insight into what they're actually drinking and try and help them on their path of drinking as well, whether it's with medication or at night time, any problems they come across. We have some really useful tools I've now created as well, which I'm sure we'll show you very shortly, but including like the Mythbuster sheets, which are very, very useful as our client. Yeah, all good. Lovely. So our health coaching is one-to-one sessions, about an hour each week, anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks, dependent on our client's needs. We come across a variety of clients. It could be just from an injury, come from hospital and home and need a bit of rehab help. They could have suffered a stroke, could have dementia. We come across a very broad variety of conditions. But our sessions are always personalised to our patients' health and recovery goals. It could even just be balance. We always offer further support from our other services, whether we get into classes, complex care, INA, so if they need more information and advice from us, even benefit checks. Obviously, we can help them find local opportunities outside as well, which is where it's been really valuable to get our UEA lot in. And they've actually done a few shadow sessions as well. We do have our activity diary, which I touched on. It does give a little broad variety of nutrition and hydration tips, but since doing our hydration project, we do now also have a hydration brochure and our video as well. So it's much more in depth and they get a very personalised program. Yeah. So our can't say that one. Trip me up then. So talk through that. Our adults are age 60 plus. Obviously, they can't do it if they are not advised to restrict fluids. Again, touching on the renal heart failure. But we do know from the get-go if our clients are able to take part or not. We put lots of Q forms and they always disclose their health conditions to us, so we can help with that as well. They do need to be receiving coaching from one of our Age UK health coaching programs or Age Healthy, or one of our clubs or groups. Doesn't matter what the class is. And again, we usually have them coaching or attending clubs in the last 6 months. We did introduce a project to our older adults, asked permission, and passed it on to our UEA. They very kindly came in and spoke to our clients, shadowed some sessions and got some real feedback, which has obviously helped to develop the programme and the materials now. This is our new hydration page. Been updated very recently. Lots of information has gone into it. There is also a video up on there. We really encourage to show any staff, any clients. We do it in our first session of this new brochure. And it also includes a tip sheet and myth busting, and also hydration with the toilet, which is one of our main concerns from our clients. But you can find that on our website now.
Yeah, I really like the drinking in the toilet. I think a lot of reason people don't drink is because they're worried about the toilet. And I think this leaflet gives lots of advice about don't worry so much. And yes.
Yes, these are just some snippets from our brochure. Again, you can find this on our website at the moment, and I think the link's on the previous page, but you can now access that. And if you want any more information, please do just email us or get in contact and we'll go through it. So going back to the toilet and hydration, this is just a quick case study I wanted to throw in just to show an accurate case study, I suppose, that we've come across. So this is one of my previous clients. She was 99, or is, I'm just not with her anymore, but she is 99 years old. And unfortunately, she was unable to participate in health coaching at the hydration project mixture. She was immobile, but her main concern was the toilet. So unfortunately, the only way she could move around was being hoisted by her carers 3 times a day. She couldn't have them come in anymore, so she had to wait for these particular times. Of course, there was fluctuation in times when the carers could come in as well. So she really was very specific on when she would drink. But I just wanted to give you another sort of side of things. And then just some of the tools that have been created. I think it's session 2. And this just talks to them about what they drank yesterday, a few key questions, like with lunch, medication. They're the usual things that will trigger people into remembering what they've started to drink. And then obviously our hydration myth busting as well. And a few more. Yeah, lovely.
So this sort of guides the coaches really. If people say something like drinks are boring, it helps the coaches to focus where they're going to provide help.
Yeah, definitely. Very useful for us. A lot of people won't necessarily know why they don't want to drink, or they could come up with a different reason why, but this, like Dianne said, it is really useful for us to get to the bottom of it, see if there's any more info we can help with. And then the amount of fluid as well, we've discovered a lot of people did it in different measurements. So it had to cover the whole basis. Again, we'll use this. So if our client has a particular mug they like to use, we encourage them to get it out. We can also fill the mug up and get a real accurate measurement, or we can try and base it off these if it looks similar.
I think this is an example of collaborative working and how important it is to work with older people, because Abbie and her colleagues talk about mils, whereas older people talked about pints and fluid ounces. So that's why you have the 3 options. But, you know, it was just so important to talk to everyone and to know, you know, where everybody was coming from, really.
Again, our drinks menu, hot drinks and cold drinks. This not only allows us to know what they're drinking, but it also encourages them to try other drinks as well, where it will start to encourage and take the vid in. So just one more case study. This is another one of my clients. He'd suffered 3 previous brain bleeds. He had very minimal speech, a very slow thought process, and movement was rather slow as well. I worked with him over about a 12-13 week period in the end, and we had increased his mobility. By the end of May, Florence and Dr. Lee came in and discussed the hydration project with them, and luckily I was there as well, because it was really nice to get an insight into the meetings that were going ahead. He hadn't actually spoken much at this point. It was usually the wife that spoke for him because he was unable to communicate properly, but he took a real interest to the drinks menus and the sheets that we had with us, and he wanted to take them off us and then surprise us all by voicing his opinions, which is lovely. Since then, he does have his new water bottle. He is now in a specialised gym as well. I spoke to the wife recently, and it's now stringing sentences. I spoke to him on the phone as well, which is lovely. But yeah, it gave him a real boost seeing all those.
So just to conclude, yeah, top drinks to drinking well, a favourite drink, not just the drink, but the way that it's made in a favourite cup or mug. I mean, we all go to the cupboard and, you know, look for our favourite mug. Having drinks frequently, that's really important. Every sip counts. Meals, you know, drink before, during and after meals. Find a chance to share drinks, you know, encourage people when they have visitors to share not to share drinks, to have drinks together. Try and avoid missing drinks and having drinks close by, within reach, and drinking plenty with medications, not just enough to swallow it, but a good amount so that it takes it into the stomach and digestive system. So every sip counts. Thank you very much. And just to acknowledge our funders, Age UK, UEA, Dunhill and National Institute for Health Research. And if the slides are shared, we have lots of links to the various blogs and websites and references as well. Thank you.
Yes, we'll put the slides on the website in a couple of days. Thank you very much for that. That was really interesting. Hydration is something that is so misunderstood, isn't it? We need to raise awareness of this.
Yeah,
Massively.
yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to.
Sorry, I think it is always worth talking about hydration and nutrition.
Yes, absolutely. We must. We must join the two together.
Mm.
I'm going to move on quickly now because we're running a little bit late, but thank you so much.